do from this moment on is essentially going to use this as a point of reference. So if it's something that you don't quite grasp or something that's weird, just go back, re-listen, or either ask questions because like that's the point of us like doing this now. Like we here together. Go back, ask the questions, and apply those concepts because the beauty of SQL is that first of all, you ain't gonna never know everything. You'll never know everything. And secondly, the other beauty is that like once you get like the core concepts of SQL, everything is like an extension of something else or like a cousin to something else, and you able to relate it back. But when you really get like the core understanding of data in its entirety, it's gonna push you all the way around. And what I mean by that is if you are in a position to where you have to leverage Python or leverage other data tools, or if you are proficient in, let's say, Excel or Power BI, there are certain concepts that you're going to see and you're going to be like, oh, like a pivot table in Excel or like a, whatever in Power BI, like you can kind of relate them back to each other. So that's the beauty of it. So the first thing tonight is just the introduction to databases. What is a database? Anything that you essentially electronically store your data in. Period. It can be images, videos, data, anything that you electronically store your data in. And the purpose of that database is the ability to keep your data organized and structured. Um, Anytime in which the beauty of y'all is y'all have essentially both of y'all really y'all have essentially put the cart before the horse, so y'all are already heavily using databases and data. Okay, London, I see your console, but y'all are heavily using this. Come through. Y'all are heavily using y'all databases and things already. So you're essentially already in the world. But what the benefit of like doing this type of work is going to help you is that you're going to go back to work or go back to doing those things and everything is going to start like clicking in you. So the beauty of that database is one of the beauties is that data analysis and reporting. That's when we get into our data visualization, that Power BI, them tableaus, them lookers. Anytime we have those databases, those data visualizations in the front end all nice and pretty and everything, but that back end pulling that data from somewhere, typically an API or an Excel or even a database. Another benefit is that what my oh, there go my mouse is that data organization and management. We got to keep our data organized, which is why I'm real big when I coach y'all to focus on like data relationships and data types and things like that, because that mindset, when your brain works like that, it's gonna push you to lean into like data quality and things like that. So when you get on your interviews and you are able to explain those different concepts, it shows you as somebody that understands data all the way around and not just like you not just memorize the syntax, you know the data part. So a big thing of data is that data organization and management. That's when we get into that governance and that data architecture, even data transformations. That data got to be stored and organized somewhere. Another benefit is that data sharing and collaboration. When y'all get y'all, even in your roles now, it is it's a very, I would say collaborative because you work closely like with other people that are leveraging that data as well. So those databases allow for you and your team to have access to the same data where you're not just like sending extracts back and forth. That data is stored. If I need it, I got it. You need it, you got it. He needs it, he got it. So that it allows that data sharing and collaboration. This is when we get into the type of databases. I oftentimes tell people that there are different types of databases, and the primary difference between them types of databases is two things: how they store their data and how they process their data. Now, with you all learning SQL, SQL is a domain specific language, meaning that you have all these tech companies from Oracle to Google to Amazon. You have all these different tech companies. And all of these tech companies allow the ability. Okay, I was making sure I was recording. Cool. All of these tech companies have created their own database. And with that, they all have different dialects of SQL. So as y'all are navigating through LinkedIn or you see certain job descriptions, they might ask for, or they might say they're using a certain dialect of SQL. And essentially highlighting it is, for example, you have Microsoft Excel, and then you got Google Sheets. If you know Microsoft Excel, you gonna know Google Sheets. Like there might be slight variations between certain things, but overall, you function the same way in them spaces. SQL is pretty much the same way. All these clients have their different dialects, but if you know, you know. I've been in a space for 13 years now. About 70% has been primarily within Microsoft, which is what y'all gonna learn on. Because naturally, most organizations, like, that's what they be doing. However, I've also had to leverage data out of Oracle, Amazon Redshift, Google GCP, which are the cloud. I've done Cockroach DB, which is like a new SQL database. I've done data in all the SQL in all those different environments, and they all primarily function the same. We're migrating over to Databricks now. So even that, like that's SQL, but it's in the cloud. So when you know that, you're gonna be straight, like regardless of the environment. Any questions on that? Let's get into retrieving data. Hold on, let me drink my water, y'all. All right. So retrieving data. This is one of the things that's gonna set you apart too. And this is one of the things that once you like understand, it's gonna push you all the way around positively in every single tool that's in data. And that's them data types. Because regardless of whatever you're using to analyze your data, whether it's Python, whether it is even Excel, all of these tools, you have to know what those data types are. They literally like crucial. Do you gotta memorize them? No. It literally makes no sense to like I memorize all these data types. It makes no sense. But where your goal should be is the ability to be able to identify which data type it is because you got to treat them differently. So those data types are crucial because they essentially define what type of data that table can store. And the way that I physically like I relate everything back to like physical stuff, but the way that I physically explain it is like when you have like a sugar jar on your counter and it's labeled like sugar, you're not gonna put salt in your sugar jar. Like you just not gonna do that. Tables and data type is the same way. If my table is defined with a certain data type, I only can put that particular data type in that field. If not, your data gonna fail. Your code is gonna fail. And those particular data types, you have to treat them differently. Like if you're retrieving that data, you got to write your code just a little different. And I'm gonna explain that when we get over into the database. Now, it's three different data types or three primary data types. You got your number data types, your string data types, and your date time. That number numeric data type is exactly what it says it is. It's going to be a number. So it'll be like either integer, float, double, decimal. It's going to be one of these. And when that table is defined, it's essentially saying nothing can go in this field except for integer. So you had an expectation of this being a number because that's how it's defined. So if somebody comes and tries to insert data in there that's somebody first name, it ain't gonna work. And that goes back to even the purposes of databases because it allows us to keep our data organized. Like you can't just be in there going reckless. The other one is that string data type, which is these all three gonna be your bread and butter. But that string data type is like your literal letters, your literal letters. So if this is defined like varchar, which is a variable strength length string, I'm essentially saying that in this field, I got letters and they can't be any more than 50. So that's your like, it's defining that field based on the type of data that can go in there. Same way with date time. That's gonna be what it is. It's gonna be a date time. And you have like this format, you have like this format, and you've probably seen it in data extracts or in data already. But that's just essentially how that data is defined. Do you gotta memorize? No. Do you need to know and recognize? Yes. Any questions on them data types?
Is string always letters or like a name? Like what exactly?
So a string can be like a letter or a number. Like it can be like just a string. Think about it like a necklace or something. Like you got this necklace, a Pandora bracelet. You got this Pandora bracelet, and you got like all these little charms on it. Every one of them little charms is a character, on a string. And if I got this Pandora bracelet and it's set for a certain length, it's cut however many inches, I can't put any more on there than what it's already fit to hold.
So the string just tells you the like
The the data type.
Just tells you. Okay, just it's okay.
Yep. And the length. Like if I got this right here.
Let's say length.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's say first name. Ain't nobody first name gonna be more than 50 characters. What?
Okay. I was gonna say, like for example, it says bar char, right? So that means that it's not a set number, but it just can't go over the number.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And so just saying char is like it's fixed, it has to be 5. Say if it's 50, it has to be 50.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. And then what about binary, fixed length binary data?
Binary depends on like the volume of the data, like how massive the actual like the I'm trying to think of the word the memory of that, like the data, of the actual data. Your is to primarily because when you define it, it's like it's like you to still have control over the data, decide to like reach.
Okay.
Yeah. Any question? So let's get into this basic SQL syntax. Now, anytime you're doing something in SQL to where, like how I said in the beginning, everything is like an extension of something else or like similar to something else, this is not going to change. So anytime you're in SQL, you if you're selecting your data, basically if you're retrieving your data, you gotta select it. Like these are your keywords. Select, select, and you put whatever your column names, the columns that you're trying to select, right after your select statement, and you gotta pull that data from. It's coming from data in SQL. We selecting that data. What you're looking at with all four of these, this is what you call your DML language, data manipulation language. I'm finna type it in the chat so you got your. Where's my mouse? Oh, there you go. DML languages. So This is all the things that SQL can do. Now, 99.9% of your time, you're going to be selecting data because of the risk that inserting, updating, and deleting data in a database naturally exposes an organization to. But I do go over all of those because it's important for you to understand how to do it. And you understanding how to do this is gonna like feed your understanding all the way around. So the four for SQL query structure is like select, insert, update, and delete. And tonight we're actually gonna do all four of these, but I'm also we're essentially gonna go back and forth, and I'll show you what I mean by that too. Now, this first one is select. When we are retrieving data from a database, I am selecting that data from that table. If I go to the grocery store and I'm getting produce, I'm getting this, whatever I need from this shelf. I'm getting this from somewhere that's sourced. That select is going to be the same way. So our first use case, let's go into our database and we're going to select some data. And not only are we going to select the data, but we're going to filter it as well. But let's go into our database first. And it should pop up something like this opening up. And if it pops up like connect, just click connect. And let me know when y'all's view looks like this.
Mine looks like that.
Good.
I have it up.
Good.
It just says let's learn one.
Oh, yep. That's your server.
That's it.
You good.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Now, what you're looking at, this is Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. This is Microsoft's tool for SQL. Like I said, about 80% of my work has been within Microsoft, but I've also used other clients, and they all pretty much look like this, from Oracle to Amazon Redshift to Databricks. If you in SQL, it looks similar to this. Your server gonna be over here. Everything gonna be like kind of laid out similarly. What you looking at over here, that's your server. Like that Let's Learn to London, that's your server. That's like the brain. So that is you remember back in the day how they used to have them computers and then like had a CPU? That's like the CPU that keeps everything running. When you get your role, or maybe if you probably already are leveraging something like this now, you will have multiple servers or environments. You'll have like a production server, a dev, QA. Your production server is like the live data. Like that's what is connected to the dashboards, and that's what holds all the financial data. That's the data that people go to answer real business questions. However, you might have lower environments that's not really used for business, but people going over there, they testing their code, they doing all type of stuff. In the event that they might break something, it's not going to impact production data. But they all literally look just like this. Like your production server will look just like your dev server, just like your QA server, and they might have like for example, y'all server's name is Let's Learn 2. It might say like Let's Learn 2 underscore prod or something. And they all pretty much look the same way. Now, if we extend your server, you'll see all this stuff opening up down here. Open up your databases. Each of these little black boxes is a database. So in your real environment, in your life, in your roles, Your organization might have 60 databases. They'll all be lined up just like that. Each of those databases is primarily used supposedly to store like data. So in your day to day, you might be in this database for this analysis. This database might hold customer data. This database might hold orders. This might hold this. This might hold that. And you will be going back and forth between databases a lot. These are your databases. For tonight's session, let's go into our data analytics simplified database. So just open it up and you'll see even more folders. Then when you open that up, open up your tables and you'll see all your tables. In SQL, the beauty of SQL is all your data is going to be stored in your tables. So that data, each of these tables holds your data. Now, one thing I want to you all to get familiar with as well is that as you navigate in a space, get familiar with like doing what is called like data investigation. I'm gonna post it in the chat. And the benefit of that is when you get into your data driven roles, you are supposed to be the data professional. So the data that you're leveraging, the people that you're leveraging data with are not the data professionals. So they're not going to come to you and they're not going to say, hey, Larita, I need you to retrieve these fields from this table and this fields from this table. Your work primarily is going to come in the form of a business question. So it's your job as an analytic professional to kind of go through the investigation, see where the data's housed, see how I can leverage it, and then work from there. Because believe it or not, these companies don't be having this stuff documented. I'm working on data mapping now, and the company, it's not really like an old company, but it's like 30 some years old, and they don't have like their data documented at all. So when you get this request, it's like up to you to like
Enrollment ID?
Yep. What other, do you see any other keys in this table?
I mean, I see the two keys underneath it, the white ones.
Yep. You see a FK?
Yes.
A FK is a foreign key. When we think about in our natural language, when we say something is foreign, something is not from there. So the FK is a foreign key, and that means that if you identify it from another table. Now, okay, if I'm looking at, let's say I'm looking at this course table and I'm looking at this enrollment table. Just looking at this, do you think that there's a relationship between the two tables? You said maybe.
Only like I'm thinking like maybe there's a certain the course name as a like a course ID, right? That identifies the course, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep going. You on the road.
Hold on. Hold on.
You in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Um, I feel like it really breaks it down because I'm thinking like certain courses in a part of a certain department, and then students usually have like some type of ID, like college ID or something, and that may be linked to the oh never mind, I thought it was the student name, but not the student name. The student name, the name of the course has a ID number. I don't know.
You like right. You like in the neighborhood. Kim, you gotta think.
I don't know.
In this course table.
Emily.
In this course table, we got our course ID. That's our primary key, right? All right. Come down here to this enrollments table. We also have a course ID. That's our foreign key.
Oh, so you're saying I'm using the foreign keys from another table. So if we're gonna pull stuff from the courses,
Yes.
into the column table because that's the foreign key. So that's how the two tables relate through the course ID.
Period.
Okay.
That's the data relationship. If I'm looking at these two data sets, I got this data set, I got this data set. Let's say I need, and which we'll get into that's way in the future, but I like to start grooming y'all brains to start creating those relationships. But let's say I need fields from this table and fields from this table. In order for me to successfully do that, I have to be able to join them two tables. But in order for me to join them two tables, I can't just be randomly taking data from here and randomly taking data from there. There has to be a connection somewhere. That's where that course ID is going to come into play because it creates that data relationship. Just like how we are related as humans. If this is my cousin, we have something in common. That data is the same way. So when you get to establishing those data relationships, it's going to lean on your primary keys and your foreign keys. And it might not, what makes it so crazy is sometimes a foreign key might not be defined, but it might still be a common field. So that's where you would have to like do your data investigation and see like, is this the relationship? So that's the data relationship. And as you navigate the space, and if you get like on live technical assessments, things like that, literally talk through it. Literally, look at your data and be like, you know what? I see the enrollment table is related to the course table on the course ID. Because it shows that you understand like data integrity, which keeps your analysis clean. Look at y'all students table and look at the columns there. Is there any tables, other tables that have a relationship with this student's table? Yes. What table? What's the other table? What's the relationship?
The enrollment table.
Yes. The student table is related to my enrollment table on that student ID. This year, the ability to do that gonna help you for the rest of your career. From here to Power BI to Tableau to Python, and Python is called merge. But you gotta merge them data frames on the certain data. Like you can't just randomly put stuff together. That there is gonna help you all the way around. But that is your data relationships. How is this data set related to this data set? On them primary keys and foreign keys. Any questions on that? Let's go to our students table. Let's right click our students table and select our top 1,000 rows. Now, if you are getting like Excel extracts from somebody, if you are like leveraging Excel, pulling data from a report or whatever the case is, this looks familiar to you. Down here, it is called an output. This is your output. You see up here, we got anything that is in our select statement gonna show up out down here. I tell people all the time, people don't make sense sometimes, but data in SQL is so literal that it's to the point where it has to be like it makes perfect sense. This is literally saying select. I'm selecting these fields from where though? From this table. Now you see this top 1,000. That top 1,000 is called a limit. I'm limiting the amount of data that shows up in my output. And you see down here, we got 1,000 records because we told it. Its system automatically tells it to do that. So delete that top 1,000 and then re-execute. To execute, you just press execute at the top, or either you can press F5 if your like keyboard set up like that, and then execute. Now, let's say I don't need, let's say I don't need student ID in my output. The best practice to get rid of student ID or any field that you don't need down here, because anything you put in your flex statement, you're gonna push, it's gonna show up down here. You wouldn't delete it. What you would do is to put your two dashes to comment it out. And it's just going to impact what shows up in your output. You gotta get
I'm behind.
mm-hmm.
So, because I'm looking at your screen, and like, for number one, you have like the asterisks and you have a script for select top rows.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the select top. So, did I not do something?
Let me see yours. But you might be good. Sometimes SQL doesn't automatically populate this part up here.
Oh, I don't have that part either, actually. Mine starts.
Hold on, let me see if I stop sharing and delete. Oh, you straight, Kim. Sometimes it don't put. Yeah, sometimes it don't put it at the top.
Okay.
London, was yours like that?
Yeah, mine's the same.
Yeah.
I say that.
Yeah, you fine. Sometimes it does it. Sometimes it doesn't have it at the top. Um. So let's say we want to get rid of, but you're not behind London. I mean, Kimberly.
Okay.
Let's say you want to get rid of your student ID. I don't need my student ID for my analysis. Put your two dashes up there, and you got to get rid of this comma because like it's throw an error. Did it throw you an error when you tried to do it, London?
I didn't get execute yet.
Oh,
I was waiting on you.
you ain't gonna bring it, and then execute it. Yeah, and you see nothing is in your output except for what you told it to say. You have 100% control over your data don't need something, just put your two dashes up there to comment it out. Don't try to like delete and then go back. And the reason that I say that is because let's say I don't need the student ID and I get rid of it. But then again, I need to go in 15, 20 minutes and do some data investigation. Now I gotta go see what did I delete, what did I keep in there. Ain't nobody got time for that. So whatever you don't need, just put your two dashes up there. Another way to comment out like a full block of code is, and which is what y'all are gonna do tonight as well, is backslash star and then star backslash, and I'm gonna post it in the chat so you can have it. Backslash star your code and then star backslash. So basically, whatever is in your like in between them is gonna be commented out. It's like it doesn't even exist. And that's in the event that you need to comment out like a full block of code, which is what y'all are gonna do tonight, which is what you will commonly do sometimes doing your analysis.
Should I do that right now?
You can just to see how it looks. Because if it's green, see how it looks. If it's green, it's like it don't exist.
So like yours. Oh wait, you erased it. Okay, so it was in where it says 2. So right now my 1 has a select in it. That doesn't matter where I put it or anything.
As long as you put it before anything, you essentially want it to encapsulate your whole syntax, which is what your block of code is. And I'll write that in the chat. Go around like your whole syntax, your whole block of code. Think of it like a stamp.
Parentheses? Oh.
Yeah, or either like parentheses. Like, yeah, like whatever is in here don't even exist. This one, this other one, it don't even exist. I looked at it like a sandwich because I'm a big bag. Like this is top of my sandwich. This the bottom. Whatever is in between there, it's like it don't even exist. So I know it sounds crazy now, but let's say you working on an analysis and you got 200 lines of code. I want to fix it later. Yeah, another thing is commas. Really, that's how we find serious things. People that right because it's easier. I'm saying about it, don't need